What's going on, guys? So today I want to talk about plastic knives. Here I have an array of different plastic knives, and this is referring to basically all non-metallic knives. There's a few different companies that make knives like this, but this is my favorite line. This is the Nightshade line by Cold Steel Knives, all right, also known as the FGX line. All right, this is how they're packaged in this plastic. Now, some people are fearful of knives like this because they are non-metallic. They can pass through metal detectors, therefore getting past certain types of security. The reality of the situation is no one's doing that. Now, these types of knives, in my opinion, are not something you can use over and over again. These are pretty much one-time use knives. All right, so this is not going to replace your EDC knife. It's not going to replace the knife you take with you out in the woods. For me, these have a very specific role for home defense. However, not just home defense, a very specific place in my home, the bathroom. Now, of course, a lot of people out there do have a firearm in their home, or they take in consideration, burglaries or break-ins and have some kind of plan to defend themselves if they are inside the house. If you're a single person in your home, you have a lot more advantage to be able to hide weapons all around the house to defend yourself. However, once you do add kids into the situation, it makes it a little more difficult. There's definitely a fine line between making sure that your house is safe for your children, but that you also have means to defend yourself if there's some kind of a bad situation that happens. Now, getting back to the bathroom, although there are a lot of people, like I said, that may have a firearm in the house or may not have different types of weapons or knives all around the house for defense, the bathroom is usually something that's overlooked, and it is where we are the most vulnerable. Now, think about the things that you do in your bathroom. What are the major two things that we all do in the bathroom? Yeah, take care of business, your pants are down, you're defenseless. And if you're not doing number 1 or 2, you're probably doing number 3, which is showering. Now, I'm not sure how everyone showers, but I usually do it naked. And when you're naked, you're usually pretty vulnerable. So in my personal situation, when I leave my home, I have multiple different ways to defend myself, multiple options. Now, when I get home, it's a much more relaxed situation, but I still have the thought in the back of my mind that if something were to happen, I have different means to defend myself. Now, what's great about these knives is because they're plastic, you can stash these in the bathroom. You can stash them in water. You don't have to worry about them rusting. You don't have to worry about, losing an expensive knife. These are all extremely affordable. Something like this Delta Dart is like $4 online, all right? Most of the models that you see on the table here, they average about $7 to $9. Something like this is much more expensive at, well, $16. So it's still under $20. All right, and obviously there's a variety of different shapes and sizes here. A lot of these knives here mimic the actual cold steel models, so there are metal versions of these knives as well. So you might already be familiar with one of these particular designs. Now, getting back to the why plastic question, because I will say that a metal knife is far better than a plastic knife every single day of the week. So why would you choose something that's plastic over something that's metal? Well, for the obvious advantage of being able to stash them everywhere. Now, again, safety is a major consideration, especially if you have children in the house. One awesome place to hide a knife for defense, inside your toilet tank. Again, I'm not going to pretend to know the layout of your house, but my toilets are in the bathrooms. So we're going back to that very vulnerable situation where you might be on the throne or in the shower. If you hear something going on and you really think there's some kind of a threat, you'll always have it available to you in the bathroom. That particular spot is very good, again, because I don't think that children are going to be looking inside the toilet tank. The toilet tank or the water reservoir behind your toilet is an awesome place to stash a knife. Mostly because if you have little kids, they probably don't even know that the top comes off. And if you have older kids, they have no interest in sticking their hands in there. So it's an awesome place to stash something like this because it will always be available, but you never have to worry about it. It can literally sit in there for years. Now, if you do have kids, the shower's a little trickier. You can't really hide a knife anywhere inside of a shower. That's why I do recommend something like the toilet tank. If you happen to have a vanity on the wall, sometimes you can put a knife on top of the vanity. But again, you can get pretty creative as to where you hide these things. In fact, you can actually hide one behind the toilet tank if you didn't want to put it inside. Because these are very lightweight and these models come with these metal rings on it, which we'll talk about in a second here, you can get one of those 3M hooks, stick it to the back of a tank, and just hang it there. It'll literally be out of sight, out of mind, but if anything ever happens, at least you know it's back there. Now, I do want to focus on these rings for a second here. All right, these knives are non-metallic. However, these rings were added because this is enough metal to be picked up on a metal detector. All right, this was because of some laws. Some states like New York are starting to ban particular knives like this. All right, so if you do want to utilize these rings, not only to keep it legal where you live, but also if you wanted to use it as hangers, that's totally cool. But if you did want to take these off the knives, I was actually able to do it with just my hands without any tools, so you can kind of spread it apart enough. All right, this one came off of this push dagger. All right, so just a quick little note there. They're kind of on there for legal reasons, but of course you can utilize it to actually hang these if you wanted to. Now again, you can get really, really creative with this. I was watching Lynn talk about these in his video he recently did about the rings and the New York laws and all that stuff. And he was talking about hiding these in like different planers outside and just all over the property. It's just, again, it's really, really interesting, you know, what you could do with something like this because of the fact that they're plastic. Now, something else to consider too is even though Cold Steel makes a bunch of different rubber training knives, you can also easily dull the edges on these, okay? You can literally just rub this on a sidewalk or asphalt, dull the edges. You can round the tops off if you happen to have, you know, a sanding machine or something or some sandpaper. You could really round these and use these as training knives as well, especially because these mimic a lot of their regular steel knives. It might be good for martial arts training. But for me, these are my last ditch options. If I'm in the bathroom and I'm in a vulnerable situation and something really bad happens and I don't have time to get to something more effective, this would certainly be a nice start. So just something to consider. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow with a brand new video. Take care.